listen to this right now, they're like, James, where are you? Why are you here? What's going on, right? So there was this house I used to record in, right? And I used to record in it for a 50, 60 weeks, and then I moved to this house and I did all of that kind of stuff. But now I'm not going to be in this house anymore because on July 17th, I'm going to be moving back to Scotland. And I can't wait to move back to Scotland because I've been stuck in this country for like 6 or 7 years now, and it's kind of driving me nuts. I want to go somewhere different, and I have been reconnecting with my friends in Scotland, talking to them, saying I'm gonna meet with you, and if you guys remember Ben and Lee, I'm actually gonna be reuniting with them, sort of thing. So there's that, but my dad has been selling all of this stuff. Like he sold the fridge, he sold like the washing machine, he sold his guitars. We've pretty much sold tons and tons of stuff because we're moving to a new country and we move out of this house on July 13th. I just thought I'd mention this because I don't want to confuse you guys, right? Because if I go when I go into Scotland, you're like, oh, where are you now, James? And then you're like, oh, I remember that, right? I remember that, right? I remember you told me on the podcast that you're going to be in Scotland. So to go back to the date, obviously, right? July 17th. It's going to be a 17-hour flight, and I'm going to be flying from the New Zealand Auckland Airport, whatever, right over to Dubai, and then right over to Scotland, pretty much for 17 hours. I remember the last time I flew here from New Zealand to Scotland. It was like a 28-hour flight or something. Yeah, it was different back then. It was 6, 7 years ago.
You are about to experience the James Rambling Show, hosted by James Bay.
Hello, welcome back to the James Ramblin' Show for yet another episode. And in today's episode, this will be the final time I'm going to be recording from this exact place you're seeing me record right now. And I have tried to record this episode a couple times, but I just kind of keep losing motivation because, right, I don't usually record these things on like a Sunday and Monday, and it's currently a Tuesday right now, so I don't really record these on a weekday or like the end of the weekend. I usually do these on a Saturday, as you know, so it's kind of weird for me to do that, but I need to do this because there's a bunch of stuff that's being sold in my house, so if I can't have this recording equipment to do this episode, obviously you're not going to be able to see it go live, etc., etc., etc. But before I get into like the meat and patty of this episode where I'm diving into this whole thing about moving to Scotland, there's going to be a lot to discuss with that, especially. I have to talk about some things that came up, and this is vital because it does tie into why you're going to see why. Right, the last episode we did was 2 weeks ago, and we should have been on episode 78 by now, but we'll dive into this, right? I'm not going to beat around the bush any longer. And so let's get into this, right? So I did these community tab posts, and I'm going to about to read to you. So about 5 days ago, I was like, hello, all viewers. I pre-recorded the guest episode today, and so it's something recorded earlier than usual, but it was an interesting conversation to say the least, and it feels different to the usual topics that have been repeated a lot lately, so stay tuned for it. I hope to try making more interesting topics a thing again on the James Rowland Show, rather than repeating things. So I was like, okay, I want to have this, I'm pre-recording this episode, guys, I'm pre-recording this episode. So then 4 days ago, I did this other post where I was diving into the fact that I did record the guest episode for this week's episode, earlier than usual for when I normally record, but the original version isn't the best and the guest had mic issues and those awkward moments, so I'm going to record again to record a better version of the episode. Stay tuned. It's a shame it didn't go well the first time round because the topic was intriguing, but it is what it is. I'll get it sorted. So I was like, oh, so this version, I thought this version, oh, it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. Oh, don't worry. We're gonna be able to do this episode. We're gonna be able to do this episode. But then this happened, right? I had to do it again. I had to do another update because this just kept going on, really, right? So let's go on there. I have to update you all on this episode again, this guest episode again, right? I was saying, unfortunately, the guest episode will no longer go ahead as there was a messy first attempt, and it's been hard trying to record it again, which is not great. So it was a bit of a mess, And just to go further with that whole thing about it being a mess, was how like this guy wanted me to record these things at 12 o'clock at night, and and if you know me, right, I don't think I would be recording that late at night. Like I would be tired. The conversation would just be me snoring the whole time, so it'd be kind of awkward. And this guy was watching movies at 9 o'clock, and he was saying, "Oh, you can totally make sure that I we can do this, right, or like that." But then the guy went ahead and said, "Oh, unfortunately, I don't think I can do this anymore, dude. I've got work and I'm at my friend's house." So it all went down the toilet for this episode, indeed, right? It went all down the toilet for this guest episode. So then, when you get outside of those little things, we also have to talk about how there was this other post I had to do, and I won't bore you with this segment any longer than it needs to be. I just thought I'd get this part out of the way. So, said, shit, I've got a terrible voice. But, anyways, right, so due to that unfortunate guest episode situation, I will be taking a week off the James Rowland show, as I'm not sure what to discuss for this week currently, and will be pre recording the New Zealand finale episode ahead of time. I hope you understand and stay tuned for when that episode comes out. So, other than that, right, we dived into that kind of stuff, right? So, before we get into the whole thing with us moving back to Scotland and all of that, right? I actually had this experience recently, or yesterday, I should say. And if you don't know who this guy is, I couldn't tell you any less, right? Because this is Tom Dunkins, and he came to my house. So if you're somebody like, let's just say hypothetically, you're this person who's just tuning in for the first time, has no idea who Tom Dunkins is. He's like this guy that's been on the James Ramblin' show. He was the first ever guest. We did the sitcom episode and then had him on to discuss his whole thing with America, and he did talk about a few other things. So he's had a range of topics to bring to the table on the show, and so we had him on the show, right? But he came to my house recently, and the reason why he came to my house is because he knows that I'm moving back to Scotland, right? So he came back to my house yesterday, and pretty much he recorded this video. Now I'm not going to show you this in video in full form or anything like that, because I'm still living in this house at this rate, and I don't want hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people coming to my house, finding out my address and where I live. So right, I might play some of the audio, I guess, but I'm not going to play this entire video. And as I am going to find this video, right, there was this point last year where he did come to my house last year, because I did actually send this email including my address, because I was talking about school on Discord, right? I was just talking about, I was on the that light system that they had last year, whatever. Right, I was talking about that, and then he found out my address, and that's how he ended up coming to my house and driving up the driveway, etc. So I will try find to play the video. So the video's called "James Gets Confronted and Kidnapped by a Crazed Fan," and it's an unlisted video he put on. And I'm probably not gonna upload this maybe until I'm in Scotland. So yeah, I'm just going to play some of the video, or the audio, I should say. James. So you don't see the house, obviously. James. So for those listening on Spotify, because I'm not going to show you the video, right, he's like, "Hey, James, I'm coming in your house." And he's up the driveway. He's like up the driveway, and he's going to come and sneak into my house. And he plays this like really creepy thing. And I actually am a bit awkward in this video, because I can't hold it in, right? I can't hold in the laughter, and I'm just like moving. My eyes are moving. I was like, "Oh, hello, bye, bye." And there's this point where he took me. Shit, sorry. Oh man, I can't believe this, right? I'm trying to process this, right? Hold on. So, right, he's trying to go into my house, etc., etc., etc. And then after that, I end up going into his car, but I awkwardly walk. Okay, I'm actually going to play the audio of that. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on. Give me a second. I'm not going to show you the entire house. And there is this point where he's like, "Hello, welcome back to the James Ramblin' Show. This will be the first in-person guest episode," or something like that. I'll see if I can show you that I'll play the audio of that, actually. Where is it? Man, I've watched this video a few times already. Where is it? Come on. I even need to pause this. Oh wait, here we go, right. Is this it? Hold on a minute.
seat here and experience the full James Rambling Show.
I'm not gonna play that. I'm not showing you it.
Welcome back to the James Rambling Show, episode 67 or 77 or whatever it is. So today we're gonna be having our first in-person interview on the James Rambling Show. So hang on, is that what I think it is?
Alright, so he was doing this impression of my podcast, right? And then I'm gonna show you also this bit where I actually go inside his car. I might just play the audio once again though. Actually, I'm not sure if it even reveals too much of the house, but actually, hold on a second. Actually, no, it kind of does reveal the house in a way. Right, hold on a minute. Where is it? Wait. Oh my god. Where is it? Hold on a minute, man. What am I doing right now? He does play the guitar in my dad's guitar as well. Oh man. Most unprofessional thing ever. Alright, are there? Okay.
Oh my god, it's actually... Get in this car right now.
Yeah, he like dramatically wants me to get in his car, right?
Get in this
I'm not
car,
showing this
James.
footage because obviously it shows off the house, but I
So
dramatically don't go in
get in the
originally.
car.
So here we go, right?
I'm gonna drive you away. I've got lollies. I know where lollies are. No, come on. Get in. Yeah, hang on. Let me just put this back here. Get in. Come on.
I'm gonna rewind to when I actually get in the car.
I'm gonna go take you to the... Put that seatbelt on.
Oh, here we go, right?
I cannot believe this is actually happening right now. Oh my god. Am I about to hit something?
Alright, he's just driving out. So he takes me into his car, and there is a point where he does drive me to his house, but I don't go inside his house, right? And then I go to my old house as well. And then I will go back to this part where he jokes about how, make this joke about how he's going to be my airport transportation when I go back to Scotland. So where is it? Where actually is this part? Hold on a minute. Is it here?
How are you getting to the airport?
Oh, wait. Hold on. Is this it? Hold on.
James, don't go.
He jokes. Alright, here we go.
James, how are you getting to the
Oh, here we
airport?
go. This is the part I was talking about, right?
James, come over here. How are you getting to the airport?
Right.
Through you, obviously. Yeah. So tell your dad that I'm going to pick you up on what day? July 17th.
Yeah, so we were joking about how he's going to be my airport transportation, because obviously he probably won't be my airport transportation, but that whole entire video pretty much is a whole pranky sort of vloggy random parody sort of stuff that we're just kind of having fun. And there's also this other detail that I forgot to mention about this whole thing, was he never put it in the actual video, but there's this point when he had his Bluetooth on his car, and the whole neighbourhood and all my neighbours, right, it was echoing and on this voice call. I think Tom Shot was there as well, and I was saying goodbye, but I could see myself holding the camera saying, oh, goodbye James, and so many points was like, goodbye James, and so it was about an 18-minute long video. I'm not going to put it in the description because obviously, right, I'm going to end up re-uploading it eventually when I don't live in this house. So I have kind of dragged out this topic, but it is quite an interesting little thing. And I had to spend a few minutes just finding those bits I wanted to mention. So once we dive outside of the whole guest episode thing, that whole dramatic thing, and then we drive out. Yeah, I guess we could just drive out because Tom Dunkins has a car. We drive out of that, right? Actually, okay, wait a minute. Hold on a minute. I forgot to mention this thing, right? I forgot to mention this. Hold on a minute. I said I was gonna go to the Scotland stuff, right? Stay tuned. So he did actually give me this letter as well, where he said, good luck out there, Tom Dunkins. It says his actual name on it, but for the purpose of the James Ramblin' Show, we've established he is Tom Dunkins. So, Tom Dunkins, right? He said, good luck out there, just saying goodbye. So, outside of that, man, oh man, half of this episode isn't even about the main topic itself, but that's why we have to give you a bit of that, like, hook you in sort of stuff. So, okay. I'm really not getting to the point with this, am I not? Right, so if you remember, like, just say somebody's listening to this right now, they're like, James, where are you? Why are you here? What's going on? Right. So there was this house I used to record in, right? And I used to record in it for a 50, 60 weeks, and then I moved to this house and I did all of that kind of stuff. But now I'm not going to be in this house anymore because on July 17th, I'm going to be moving back to Scotland. And I can't wait to move back to Scotland because I've been stuck in this country for like 6 or 7 years now, and it's kind of driving me nuts. I want to go somewhere different, and I have been reconnecting with my friends in Scotland, talking to them, saying I'm gonna meet with you, and if you guys remember Ben and Lee, I'm actually gonna be reuniting with them, sort of thing. So there's that, but my dad has been selling all of this stuff. Like he sold the fridge, he sold like the washing machine, he sold his guitars. We've pretty much sold tons and tons of stuff because we're moving to a new country and we move out of this house on July 13th. I just thought I'd mention this because I don't want to confuse you guys, right? Because if I go when I go into Scotland, you're like, oh, where are you now, James? And then you're like, oh, I remember that, right? I remember that, right? I remember you told me on the podcast that you're going to be in Scotland. So to go back to the date, obviously, right, July 17th, it's going to be a 17-hour flight, and I'm going to be flying from the New Zealand Auckland airport, whatever, right over to Dubai, and then right over to Scotland pretty much for 17 hours. I remember the last time I flew here from New Zealand to Scotland, it was like a 28-hour flight or something. Yeah, it was different back then, it was 6, 7 years ago. So all that stuff, and I am actually can't wait for that, and I haven't gotten a job lately, so I can't really do anything. So I might get a job in Scotland and might do that. So I can't wait for that. Right, I was trying to remember if there was any other details that I could dive into here. Right, there's also the suitcases. I've also been doing the packing and making sure there's less clothes, and I've had to actually recycle tons and tons of clothes because I don't have a washing machine. So I've been wearing a lot of the same clothes all the time and stuff like that. So and my parents are they're excited to go back as well. I'm just excited in general that I'm getting an opportunity to go back to Scotland, and maybe potentially I can finally do a few episodes where I'd actually dive into a bit of Scotland because obviously we have had a lot of repetitive topics as of late, and so like that will be good because then I have more things to talk about. I could even like talk about maybe experiences I had in Scotland when I was camping because I don't think I've only mentioned like camping once, and I might be doing some camping over in Scotland, might be doing some fishing, might be doing a lot of kind of things, and I actually just can't wait for that. And where it will be in Glasgow, Scotland. So yeah, I'll just can't wait for that. Hopefully we have all of this stuff, right? I'm just super excited for this stuff, and I hope you guys also like this new stuff. I hope also, right, I forgot to mention this other detail was like, I'm thinking maybe I could get some like lighting when I'm in Scotland, like get some like background lighting and get some interesting little kind of background going on because obviously when I record these things, it's just like a background that has a poster. It's just a bedroom, so it's not very interesting. So I've kind of done that, right? I've said what I needed to say about Scotland and how I'm moving houses and I'm going all of that and I'm moving countries and stuff like that. Maybe moving countries will make it so we can have fresher topics. So I have been doing that. We had the whole Tom Dunkins situation, we had the whole guest episode situation. So other than that, really, this episode, I kind of had to get this one out of the way because of how I was saying, okay, yeah, this is going to get sold, this table and chair I've been recording with, right? Not going to be selling the mic. So, if this episode isn't like the most professionally well done, the most best episode of the James Rambling Show, then I don't know what to tell you, right? I mean, the James Rambling Show has never been kind of a professional show anyway. So other than that, right, I kind of have been dragging out this episode, but I'll see you when I'm in Scotland and I'm in the airport. I might actually be jet lagged a little bit because when you're on a flight and you're on a flight, it's kind of like you just feel jet lagged by it and you just feel exhausted. So I won't have enough energy, but I will have enough to discuss hopefully. So hope you enjoyed this episode. This is not like this is just this. I think this is just like a stereotypical James Ramplin show where we mess around and we never get to the point. Like this is never get to the point. Part 1000. This is deja vu. This is actually deja vu right now. Like we've done this thing. I think we've done this kind of style like 1,000 times already. But who cares, right? Who cares? Like, this is just getting it out of the way, aren't we? We'll definitely try harder with future episodes, but man, who cares, right? I'll see you next week. I need to shut the hell up, right? We've been doing this for 77, 78 weeks. I should already shut up. It's been a year and a half, right? Let's get out of here. Let's get out of here. Let's get out of here. Alright, bye. See you next week for the next episode of the James Rambling Show. Bye, 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 bye. Don't go, James. Don't go, James. Don't go, James. Bye. That was the words from Tom Dunkins, by the way, if you remember from earlier in the episode. Bye.